Hey fam, welcome back. So I am your girl, your favorite life and relationship strategist, MarshaunO, and today we're going to talk about the relationship pitfalls that you want to avoid. In fact, we're going to be addressing 4 of them today. And the reason why we are addressing these things is because you do not want to just get into your relationship and think that everything is just going to flow smoothly. You do have to put in some maintenance. I don't even like to call it work. You really have to maintain your relationship. See, think about it like this. Just like you have to go and maintain your vehicle in order for it to work properly, that is the exact same thing that you must do in order for your relationship to run properly. So in order for your car, just regular maintenance to run properly, and so you're not spending a whole lot of money on gas day in and day out. Your tires need to be filled up. They could be rotated. Your car needs to be aligned. And of course, your oil needs to be checked and maintained at a certain level. So that is the maintenance, just the basic maintenance of keeping your car running. So now switch that to your relationship. There is basic maintenance within your relationship that needs to occur in order for your relationship to run as smooth as a new car. So, avoiding these relationship pitfalls that I'm about to address really is paramount in your relationship to keep the relationship moving smoothly, to keep each and every one of us out of that mindset that I'm just going to get the guy, I'm just going to get the girl, we're going to get together, everything's going to be cool. Or I'm going to finally get married after the wedding, after we said I do, and then things are just going to fall into place because they're going to fall into place. That is not the way that relationships actually happen. That's not the way that you keep the love. It's not the way that you keep the passion. It's not the way that you keep the, you know what, damn it, I still love you. I'm still in love with you. I cannot wait to see you when I get home. So let's jump in and take a deep dive into what the 4 relationship pitfalls that so many of us fall into, because you do not want to fall into these at all. So the very first one is our smartphones, our electronics, our TVs, our computers, everything that can distract you from being there, truly connecting with your spouse, with your partner. You do not want your smartphone and all of the things that are in there, in your world, your virtual world, to take you away from your partner so much that now this really is your world and you're having a hard time connecting with the person that's sitting right next to you. You're having a hard time connecting with your children. You're having a hard time connecting with your friends. I'm talking about the people that you are face to face with, because you're so caught up with this thing. A thing that is holding a lot of people back from maintaining a healthy sex life is this phone, is the television. Is the laptop, is the computer. You have it in your room. And research has actually shown that the blue light that you see, and it doesn't seem blue to us, but that light that we're seeing at night that's in our face, it actually distracts us from sleeping well. And so if it's distracting you from sleeping well, it's definitely distracting you from kicking up the sparks and the love making in your bedroom, because you're distracted. I actually talked to a client the other day, and he's basically saying how he wants to bring the connection back into his relationship because he is the person that has the smartphone in there. He could be reading something on there, a book, an article, etc. But he's on the smartphone, and then his wife actually has her computer in the bed. And then he wonders why they're not connecting. He wonders why they're not having a lot more sex. Because the vibe is not there. You guys are not focused on each other. So the smartphone is the very first thing that you need to avoid as much as possible. But again, it can be any of your electronics. And seriously, if you want to sleep better, move your phone. I know that we use it as an alarm clock, but move your phone into a different room. Or move it as far away as possible from where you are sleeping. So if it's on the side of the bed that you're sleeping on, try to move it on the opposite side of the bed, because 1, you're going to sleep better because those waves are not next to you. Number 2, is going to help you beat that alarm clock beep, beep, beep. The snooze button is actually going to help you beep because you have to get up. And so if you have to get up to go get your phone, you're highly unlikely to get back into bed. At least it's a lot harder to do that. So avoiding the smartphone in the bedroom or just always in your face. And that way it's taken away from the connection of your spouse. The second thing that you want to think about is your friends, specifically your friends of the opposite sex. Now, do not misunderstand what I'm saying before I even say it, which is that I'm telling you to take away from your friends of the opposite sex. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that there needs to be a limit to it, because what actually happens is the person on the opposite end of the phone who now happens to be your male friend or your female friend. And what happens is in your relationship, especially when times are hard, when things are rough, when you're at your worst in your relationship, that's when, the flirtation actually means something to you. Or I'm telling all of my business now via text or on the phone call. The calls, the texts, the emails become more intimate. You're sharing more super intimate details about your relationship. One that you know your spouse probably would not approve of, but because they're your friend, it's innocent. You're just sharing your life, right? We really do have to be careful about inviting these other parties into our relationship, because the cheating that usually comes, I mentioned this before and I'm going to mention it here again. The cheating usually happens passively. It's during those times that you're not really realizing that you're opening Pandora's box. Like you got mad at your spouse and now you keep telling your friend, which, yeah, they're your friend, but you keep telling your friend the intimate details about what you're pissed off about. And then you start to tell them a time too many. And guess what? My friend understands me more than my spouse. And that might not necessarily be true. What you know about your friend is that you don't have to live with them day in and day out. You don't have to deal with their craziness. You don't have to deal with their quirks, right? That's all of the stuff that you have to deal with your husband or with your wife. But your friend, you don't really know your friend like that. And so you're feeling like, oh, I can get more connected to my friend because we're sharing all of this stuff. When it really, in fact, you could have a better relationship if you actually turned all that energy that you put on your friend and actually put it on your spouse. So again, I'm not saying eliminate your friends, because I have male friends that I talk to on the phone that we actually hang out. We have play dates because we have little children. But there is a limit, which actually brings me to point number 3, which is to keep the boundaries in your relationship. That's part of the boundary. Me and my male friends, we still talk on the phone. We still text, but there's still a boundary. They can't just call me at all hours of the night. They can't just text me all different kinds of crazy stuff, sexually explicit things. There's boundaries in the relationship. We don't even talk all the time. We definitely don't talk every day. We don't even talk every week. But there's still a relationship there. There's still a friendship there. And we both understand the boundary because we're both in relationships. There's boundaries there. You're my friend, but I have a family, right? You have to put the boundaries in place. And also putting the boundaries in place for just outsiders, period. Not just your friends of the opposite sex, your friends, your family, your siblings. A lot of things that's going on in your personal life, in your personal relationship. I've said this before. Try to choose 1 to 2 very, very people that you can trust with your information, that's not going to throw it in your face later on or give you the I told you so, or just tell you to do something stupid because misery loves company and they're the miserable friend. And now they're giving you stupid advice because they want you to join their party. We really have to limit the people that we invite into our lives, that we invite around our spouse, that we invite just period with us. Because as much as we like to think that we really think all the time and it's all of our brain waves and it's all of our thoughts that's running through our head, that's actually not true. And research shows it. Just think about when you were a child and all of the things that your parents told you to do. And now you're an adult and you're still still doing those same things. It's because we end up getting programmed by our parents, by our guardians. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying we think that we have all of our thoughts are to ourselves, and we think our own stuff, and we got everything on lock. But even the behaviors that you do, even the way that you get dressed, somebody started teaching you that way to get dressed, and now you continuously do it. Somebody started to teach you how to bathe. Now you do it that way. It's automatic now. You don't necessarily think about it. Some people brush their teeth in the shower. You were taught that. I actually wait till I get out of the shower and I brush my teeth. But I'm just saying, these are the things that we have been programmed to do that we're not necessarily thinking about, because now it's all automatic. But we really do have to think about the boundaries, the protection, the people that you bring around you and your family, because it always says that birds of a feather flock together. And the things that your friends, family, all of these people that you bringing into your life, they're bringing and rubbing something off on you. The more that you hang around your friends, the more that you hang around your family, you're going to pick up on the things that they start to do, some of the things that they start to say, the phrases and everything. You are. That's just the way that it happens. It's not that you're trying to do it on purpose. You're not necessarily trying to be them or copy them. It's just the way that it happens. Okay? Now let me move on. The fourth and final thing. Sorry about that. We're not taking our spouse, or I should say you're not taking your spouse as seriously as you need to. Taking your spouse for granted still. A lot of us still do that because, again, we live with our spouse all the time. They're around us. They're with us. We call them and ask their opinion. They're always there, right? But we might stay mad a little too long because we think that they're going to be there. And I was actually reading a book the other day. Actually, it's called the Happy Wives Club. I'm saying the other day, but I'm actually currently reading it. Anyway, my point that I'm bringing up is in that book, one of the husbands was speaking, and basically he said one of the ways to stay happy in your marriage is not to go to sleep mad. And his reasoning made so much sense. So for me, and in my relationship, that really is something that him and I need to work on, because we will go days with, being mad, right? Even though I'm over it, it's, ego, I'm not saying nothing to you, all of that crap. That still happens, right? As much as I preach this stuff, I said to you before, I'm still a work in progress. I do not have everything all together. Do I know what to do? Yes. But I'm just as human as you are. These things still affect me. These things still affect my relationship. We're not perfect, but we are a work in progress. But to get back to this, the husband says, do not go to bed angry. And the reasoning is because tomorrow's not promised. I had an aha moment on that. Tomorrow's not promised. And yes, I knew that tomorrow wasn't promised. But to read this, to hear this, it's like, tomorrow is not promised. I do not need to go to bed angry. And on top of that, to further explain what he was saying, he was like, because everybody that he knows that has gone to bed angry, or basically not just gone to bed, you've had an argument, you had a fight, you didn't rectify the situation, that person passes away. Now the living person has this regret. I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to have any regrets. On my dying bed, I don't want to have regrets if my husband happens to pass away and now we're being petty. I didn't get a chance to say I'm sorry, I love you, I forgive you, this was stupid, let's move forward. I don't want to have those regrets. So I know in my own relationship, I have to get better about just saying I'm sorry and just cutting that, because I don't want to have that regret if something happens to my husband. So again, these are the 4 pitfalls that we all fall into, but I don't want you to be that person that falls into this, because you're here, you're able to get the information. If you need step-by-step help, now is the time to reach out, to learn all of the strategies, learn all of the tools, everything that you can learn to create the relationship that you want. Reach out to your girl. I will talk to you guys in the near future. I love you. I'm thanking you for watching, especially this far. I will talk to you guys very soon. 2 finger salute.